Hey, what's up? I want to talk about Toy Story. I want to talk about Toy Story. We all like Toy Story, right? That's a good movie. We all like it. We've all seen it. I'm going to talk about it. What I want to talk about in Toy Story is right at the climax of the first film. Spoilers, I guess, but come on, we've all seen this movie. We all know what happens in this movie. So, as you probably know, at the end of the film, Sheriff Woody and Buzz Lightyear blast into the sky, taped to Sid's rocket, and then this happens.
Hey, Buzz! You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
God, what a great moment. What just like a fantastic cinematic moment. But here's the thing. It doesn't make any sense, right? Several times previously in the film, it has been established quite clearly that Buzz cannot fly. He thinks he can in this early scene, but we see that it's just a wacky chain of Rube Goldberg-esque events that make it seem like he flies. Then he sees a TV ad that tells him to his face he can't fly, and trying to disprove it, he jumps off the banister at Sid's house. And he falls and breaks his arm off. Toys are alive in Toy Story. That's the whole point. They talk and think and move around on their own, but they're still limited by the physics of their plastic bodies. They can be hurt, they're not very strong, and if they've got small legs, they can't run fast. Buzz can't fly because he's not a space ranger, he's a toy. A toy that wasn't built to fly. But here, well, he flies.
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
Yeah, sure, falling with style, sure, but no. He's flying. He soars through the air, unaided, he controls his own motion, and he decides where he lands. He flies. Buzz Lightyear flies. And what I love about this moment is that within the film's logic, there's no literal explanation for how this can be. Buzz doesn't discover some previously unknown feature that he was designed with. He doesn't build a flying machine to overcome his physical inability. He just flies, even though we know that he can't. Why can he fly here? Well, at the start of the film, Buzz is a toy who thinks he's a real-life spaceman. He thinks he can fly, he thinks he's on an alien planet, he thinks the fate of the galaxy is in his hands. He thinks he's hot shit. But none of it's true. He's deluded. Then he comes across proof that he isn't what he thought, and it breaks him physically and emotionally. He falls into a depression because he doesn't know what his purpose is if he's not a space ranger. He's so distraught that he's willing to be blown up. Until Woody teaches him that being a toy is pretty cool, and Buzz realizes he's right. And so he and Woody race to get back to Andy, working as a team because they both know who they are and where they belong. Buzz ends the film as a wiser and more complete person than he began it. This is what we in the biz who went to movie school call a character arc. And he flies. And the only explanation you can possibly find for that is that Buzz didn't know who he really was, and now he does. He flies because he's completed his character arc. He flies because he's true to himself. On a purely literal, logical level, that doesn't make any sense at all. Becoming your best self is good, but it doesn't give you magic powers. Buzz should not be able to fly. But what sort of joyless, miserable pedant would give a crap about that? Online film criticism in this post-CinemaSins era tends to care a lot about internal consistency. People pore through movies and televisions for plot holes and illogical character decisions. There are those who like to look at storytelling like a math equation, where everything needs to add up neatly or else it's been done wrong. If there's something in a movie that doesn't make sense by that movie's logic, then that's a problem. A mistake has been made. What I love so much about this scene in Toy Story is how thoroughly it just doesn't give a shit about that mindset. No logical reason is given for why Buzz Lightyear can fly, and none is needed. What matters is the emotional journey of the characters, and this is that journey's culmination. Buzz is his best self, so he can fly. There are currently 3 sequels to Toy Story, and Buzz never flies again. Him flying does not represent a permanent change in the status quo. Once this moment is over, the rules that govern the Toy Story universe go back to applying. Buzz is back to a non-flying piece of plastic. Because this moment was never meant to make rational sense within the world the film establishes. It makes emotional sense, and that's all it needs. In that one moment, in that perfect, magical moment that can never be repeated, Buzz Lightyear can fly.